an opportunity this week to get a little rest and then get this break before Ohio. But before we do, let's put Toledo to bed. Thoughts on that game, and now turning your attention to switching to midweek contests.
Yeah, kind of went the way that we thought it would in terms of it being a hard-fought, contested battle with two teams that backs are against the wall, and really trying to play our best football and their best football in the beginning of November. November's a big month, and came down to literally no time left on the clock. I do want to say that we still are thinking about Jeremiah Peters. And I don't know him. Coach Candle's done an awesome job, though, of just kind of keeping us, updated. And sounds like he's in a lot better place, but that's scary for everybody. So a very, very disappointed, team meeting room yesterday.
Alex?
Coach, obviously with the final play that decided whether you guys were going to win by one or lose by one, but when you guys look back and reflect on the game, do you feel like there were moments in there where, had other situations gone differently, had there not been like drop pass in the end zone, missed field goal, that you guys probably should have won by 2 or 3 scores, and had it not come down to, a hair at the end?
It's, I've done this for a few years, and when I get to doing that, I'm undefeated lifetime. I've never lost. You know what I mean? If we'd made this tackle, if we'd return, one more block on kickoff return and we'd scored right there. I mean, it usually doesn't take too many plays, and you never lost a game. So, yes is the answer. I mean, if I could manipulate, 3 or 4 plays in that game, maybe even one, earlier, we win. Now, I'll also tell you this, Coach Candle and those guys could say, man, if we could just take back these, 2 or 3 plays, and we do that, right? I mean, because you want to correct, you want to get better and you want to seize the moment. But I will. Your question's relevant. When it's 19-7 in the beginning of the fourth quarter, right? It wasn't even just throughout the game, but it was, with less than a quarter left. There's things that we could have done to win.
Demary McNulty had an interception towards the beginning. It was that was the first possession. Just thoughts on how he's been able to, kind of come a little bit more alive, finally get his first turnover of the year, and what you've seen out of him this year.
Gosh, we knew right when he got here. We loved him on the visit and whatnot. I've talked to him about this several times. I mean, I was actually recruiting in California when we sitting in a parking lot and had a FaceTime call with him. When he was really trying to decide, and I was just like, man, if you are who you say you are, I'm telling you, we are telling you who we are and how we do it. You would just be this awesome fit. Thankfully, he came, and just right away, everybody in our program loves. He goes by Juice, and just been an awesome fit, and can play both safety and corner. He's was injured for part of the season, but back healthy now, and we love having him. He's a really good player. He's even a better human and a leader, and that takeaway. I mean, there's turnovers and takeaways, right? There's some times where it's just, the football gods gift you something, and there's times you take it away. He took it away. Second play of the game was an awesome play. Gave us the ball on the 50-yard line. So we're proud of him, and he's going to keep getting better and better.
Flipping the tone on that, Joshua Scott played a handful of minutes in the beginning of the year, missed, was ruled out all year, and then was finally listed as a season-ending injury this past week. Just curious to know, what were you guys waiting on to see whether or not he was going to be a week-to-week or to a season-ending injury? And
sometimes it's a decision on, are we going to try to rehab this, see if that works, and then and if it does, great, or do you have surgery, and sometimes you have to wait, to see when surgery would be best and whatnot. So, he's not going to be able to play this year.
And in my last, with Ohio coming up, of course, for me, I always look at them as offensively, they're going to, try to win with the read option, and then defense, especially when they were chasing the title in 2022, that defense really came along. What are your thoughts on this year's unit, and what are you kind of expecting to see out of them in 9-10 days? Yeah,
still watching them. Obviously, they play at Kent State Wednesday night, and so we'll get a whole nother game on them. So they're starting with their offense. Their quarterback really runs the ball effectively, and then he's throwing 66% completion percentage, and so they've really found a guy that can do it all, and the offense goes through him. So we think he's good and has been very effective, and their offensive line's always been good. They're really diverse in their run game right now. So that's going to be a huge challenge for us is figuring out, what they're going to call and when they're going to call it, and defending a lot of different things. And then, like I said, the quarterback can throw the ball downfield, and they've got a group of receivers that have been good for them. I mean, their offense has been very good. And then defensively, they have, in my opinion, for a long time, we haven't played them every year, have been more in line of this is who we are, mostly an even front, base out of certain coverage, and get really good at it, and obviously have game plans and make adjustments. And so especially with their front, we've seen that they are more multiple now, than they've been. In the secondary, it's been less multiple than the front, but so it's a different look, Ohio. Yep.
Do you feel as if the team has finally gotten a handle on penalties? There was noticeably fewer calls that were called on Saturday than the season average.
Yeah, we had 3, and then I think it was a week ago we had 4, and I tell the guys, 5 and less is championship football. Officials have something to do with that as well, and I just mean, sometimes they're going to call less than more. It's just, the crew and how they're going to attack it. So, but we feel really good. We had 3 penalties for 25 yards, and that's certainly winning football.
And what are some key improvements that you've seen team defense-wise, especially with Eastern being one of the nation's leaders in defense?
Well, we did a really good job this last week with stopping the run. Now, they got some explosive runs, and the first play of the game, was one of those. But that was one of our 3 plans to win, and feels though that our front, our defensive line and our linebackers played much better, and even I'd say much harder than we did the week before. They really showed up, and it always starts. It always starts with that group.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, but tomorrow being election day, do you guys talk about the civic duty to your players and getting out there? Not a political thing, but just making their voice heard?
Yeah, I missed that opportunity at our team meeting yesterday. We have mentioned it prior to that, but now that you say it, yesterday would have been the time to do it, and that's not where my head was. And so if they're listening to this for some reason, want to encourage everybody to get out and vote. I did the early vote on Friday morning, but I absolutely should have said something about that yesterday, and it's not where my mind was.
Totally understand.
Markus, where's this team at after 2 tough losses mentally?
I really say it's really like right now, we know our back's against the wall. So we know that we got to come in every day, put our head down and work, to finish out strong. Because there's still hopes, there still is hopes, depending on how everything plays out in conference. But I feel like we are at a good pace right now, and we just got to continue to keep coming in, working day in and day out, get better, get with the game plan, stay with the coaches, and, still have that chemistry as a team, even going through adversity.
Can you talk about the Hail Mary? I know you didn't catch it, but can you talk about that play and the decision to go for 2?
So the Hail Mary, we had worked on it. We work on it in practice, and our coaches stressed the details. And so I feel like the guys went out there and they knew what they had to do. They knew the objective, and Terry, he went out there and made a good play. And that's plays that have to be made and everything. And then going with the 2-point, our coaches had planned that out, earlier in the week, to go for it and everything. And, we believe in them and they believe in us. So we worked that throughout the week, and when we went for it, everything was executed, and he just made a play. So that was really everything. But everybody on the sideline believed in the coaches. We believed in the play calling. They believed in us, so we had to go execute.
I know Terry was upset because that looked like the defensive back made a really good play on that. Did Terry feel afterwards that he should have made that catch?
Yeah, he felt some type of guilt, but a lot of the players on the team surrounded him with love after, and honestly it was on us, you know what I mean? It should not have even got to that point, you know what I mean? Because we had prepared all week. We all knew what the game plan was offensively and defensively, so the play wasn't made, but at the end of the day, Terry, he gave it his all, he fought, and our team continued to fight too.
Where are you at mentally when you're playing with Cole Snyder? You had a great game against Central Michigan. You go over 100 yards. You get 1 catch in this last game. He's great at spreading the ball around and taking what defenses give him. For you, is it just, I got to be ready? I never know when it's going to come my way, and I just got to be ready. Some games are going to be up here, and some games maybe not as many touches.
So with Cole, he does a good job of, spreading the ball around, especially, with me, Man, Terry, Max Reese, Jerry, all of us. So I would say, when things happen like that, I really don't get in my head because, I know throughout the week, what the game plan is looking like. So that's really one of the biggest things. We know if a team's coming in cover 4, man, and things like that. So when the ball, comes to me very, very little or comes to me a lot, I just got to be ready every time. You know what I mean? So you got to make the most of your opportunities. But I really don't look at him no different. I never will. He's a hardworking dude. He's a leader. So I'm always behind him. You know what I mean?
Individually, have you been happy with your performance over the course of the season and where you're at?
Yeah, I've been, especially being in a whole different position, a year ago. I'm very blessed for this opportunity. Every day I come in, I just look around it's football. You know what I mean? So even with my performance, there's things I do want to clean up. I do want to get better at personally. But as far as the performance aspect, I do see growth, in myself, whether the stats say this or that, you know what I mean? I still see individual growth through practices, through prep, through everything.
You talk about position change. Do you have any reluctancy to switch?
What you mean by that?
Were you hesitant? No, I want to stay in one position. I don't want to switch positions.
Really, honestly, it was just what was open, to me when I first walked in. You know what I mean? They needed an outside receiver. I came here and that's what my job is. I can play inside as well, and the coaches know too. So, they don't need me on the inside. We got Man. Man's doing his thing. So, it's really a real fair share of all of us. We all got different things, different aspects that we bring to the offense, and I feel like they do a good job of distributing that on Saturdays.
Were you in any way named after Markus Allen, the running back?
Nah, my mom actually, she found out about that after she named me, and she was like, oh, that's crazy. But growing up, I heard that a lot, and then I was actually playing running back when I was in Pee Wee, so I used to watch his stuff, and I'm like, man, this is some old tape. But,
it's old.
But yeah, so I know a lot about him.
All right, thank you, Markus.
Yeah, I'm sure that that was brought up in the recruiting conversations with Creighton. He's a big Raiders fan, right?
Nah, not me. I'm a Packers fan.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, then how do you feel about yesterday?
Oh, bad week to say that.
Man, You know, they got a lot they got to do. They got a lot they got to do. Like,
Obviously, a lot of like your targets and like your success can come with like the game plan and all that stuff, and you know how many opportunities are you going to be able to get. What can you say for like kind of like the increased role that you've had over these past few weeks, especially having the big game at Central, big game at Akron, and all that stuff? You know, how have you kind of like taken to that responsibility of being a trusted receiver out there?
I really don't take it lightly. You know what I mean? Like the guys, they've always been behind me since I got in. You know, like they've always, you know, seen what I can do, and they always believe that I can go out there and, you know, do things on Saturday. So that was a big thing. You know, especially the Central game. Like that was an eye opener. Like, okay, we can do this every week. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just have to game plan and everything, and if the tide swings our way, it swings our way. But as far as that though, I do take it heavy to my heart, honestly, you know, just to come in and, you know, not only try to be, you know, the number one receiver, because I really don't believe in that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys with different skill sets. So I just come in and, you know, play my part, play my role. But I do feel some type of, you know, some type of pressure behind it. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to be on your P's and Q's all times. You know, you're one of the top receivers on the team, too. So you just got to conduct yourself in a well manner and do what you need to do.
And your coach has said before, it's definitely not like a one-man show out there. You know, you got man, you got JB, you got Terry out there. What can you say to the receiver room that you're practicing with and making plays alongside?
Really, I could just say to them, like, you know, man, we're grinders for real. Because, you know, just going back to the summertime and everything, like when I first got in here, like these dudes are already on it. Like they already had a plan, you know, to throw on Saturdays, you know, to do extra work and do extra things. So I feel like the things that are coming towards us are earned, you know what I mean? And we still have a lot more to do, you know, with these last 3 games and everything. So I'm really just proud of the group, you know, staying together, whether adversity hits or not, you know, continue to go out there every day, do the coach's game plan, do as much as we can do, and, you know, see where we go.
And that game plan for Ohio is going to be coming up for you guys. You'll figure it out later. But for you, you know, knowing that there's, you know, 3 games left and maybe a 4th for, you know, going bowling, what do you have to feel like you have to do to make sure that you guys finish out strong?
You know, it's continue to close the gap, like Coach Creighton says. Is every week, you know, we come in, we write out these goals every day, like for our practice days, like what's your goal and everything. I feel like it's close the gap, like continue to close the gap, and that's what our wrench embodies too. So continue to close the gap, come in, you know, still attack every single day like it's week 1, you know, like it's fall camp, you know, things like that. And then, like Coach Teagar said, like, it's just to be hungry to be coached. So still come in to be, you know, hungry to be coached, you know, still sit up, chest out, chin high. Like, adversity is going to come, but I feel like day to day we still have to continue to work on being great and how can we continue to get better. So.
Markus, you scored the opening touchdown for EMU on Saturday. Can you walk us through that play and what it did for the team tone-wise?
As far as that, like going into that play, we knew we needed to punch it in. We needed to start fast, and our defense had 2 good stops before, and we couldn't get the ball rolling offensively. So with that touchdown, like I knew I had to make a play. You know, I got to be the guy that has to spark the flame right now for us. So with that, like I trusted Cole, I trusted the timing. We worked on it, and then it was just a nice ball. And so he placed it to where I could get it, and me being a big receiver, got to play through me. So it was pretty easy, though, just because we practiced it all week, and preparation helps you a lot.
Yeah, and that touchdown was your 2nd of the season, which puts you along with 5 EMU players with multiple touchdowns. How does that feel to be a part of such a talented receiving group?
It feels special, you know what I mean? Just because there's dudes that came through here, put up some numbers, and, you know, they worked for it. And, you know, us being that blue-collar type of motto and everything, like, I feel like everything that comes to our players is because of work and preparation. So I feel very special, you know, to be in that category and to add on to that as years go on.